Hello friends, I'm the Otter, and we're going to look at the MRP lift damper. So it's a direct replacement for your Fox, RockShox, or Marzocchi product, and it was really interesting. I've had my eyes on it for quite a while. For one, it only has a low speed compression adjuster. So it seems like kind of a downgrade, right? Because if you had a Grip 2 damper, it has high speed compression adjuster. So the compression adjuster is not as important as what's inside of the fork. So on the lift damper, it says don't compress. And then I had to compress it and spray my face with oil. But fortunately, it does come with a microcloth to clean off all the oil you're going to spill when you do press this down. So it does feature 10 clicks of low speed compression, but don't worry about that stuff. What you want to worry about is the valving, the shim stack, and the piston inside of the fork. So in my hand is the valving for my Fox 36 Rhythm. This is designed for a person from 100 to 300 pounds. So which means it's a very light compression tune. So when I picked up the MRP damper, I knew it was going to be pretty good because it's going to have some custom valve shimming inside of it. If you are currently in possession of a RockShox product or a base level Fox fork, it fully makes sense to upgrade to the lift damper because it's probably going to be better, right? But I got to stack it up to the high-end newer Fox Grip X damper that's currently in my Fox 38. Because I don't want to go easy on it because we're talking about $300-400 of your own hard-earned money here. Laying my bike on the ground, there was definitely a whole bunch of air inside of the bleeders because I rode this last night. So a fresh taste in my mouth of that high-end Fox damper. And we'll see which one's the best at the end of the video. I'm going to put the MRP lift damper inside of the fork while the fork is attached to the bike. And we'll see how it goes. I briefly watched their installation video, but let's do it the Otter's way. I've got some cardboard. We're going to make sure the bike is level. Now the MRP instructions say to put the air spring oil, which would be Fox 20 weight oil, inside of the damper side, but I really don't care what's inside of my bath oil, so we're just going to reuse the 4 weight oil that's still inside of the fork. So she's all level, let's pull it out. This $319 price tag may not last forever, but it's definitely a little bit of a motivator. So I have the Fox 38, and here's all the tunes. I got the red tune, even though technically for my body weight, I'm a blue tune because I weigh 220 pounds or 100 kilograms. So this is what you get, the little card, and you can see a red X. It'll be a good test to see if it's too heavy for me, because it might be, or it might be too light. So here's all the dampers I own: Grip 2, Grip X, and now the MRP lift damper. And I forgot about the E-Tune damper that's in pieces off the screen. I struggled for quite a bit. I had to go back to the instructions. You have to actually move the rebound to the fully fast setting, otherwise this thing will not compress down. There's a couple nice touches inside of the box. It includes a little bit of grease. And from now on, I will be putting grease on these threads because these threads are very fine. They're 1.0 threads on a huge diameter. So you want to protect those threads as much as you can. So I didn't read the instructions too far, and I just put the crush washer from my Fox 38 grip damper on the new crush nut, but nice touch from MRP here. They made it a 15 millimeters, so you don't have to get a new tool out. There is one massive benefit of only having the low speed compression knob on the top of the fork. It is very easy to install. The Grip X knob is super hard to get right because it also has like a lockout. You have to follow the instructions to the letter, and it still doesn't work half the time. Moving the rebound from full fast to full slow, there's definitely a very responsible range. It's not like a massive range because remember, this is a custom tuned fork for a big dude. You're dealing with completely new internals, so it's always a good idea to check the sag because you don't know what kind of oil's inside of here. It could drastically change the air pressures later on. Fortunately, it was still in the ballpark, but I've been gone for like a month or so, and the fork definitely lost 10 psi from 1 month of sitting. This is pretty normal for any Fox 38 I've ever had. Here's the MRP lift knob, and regardless of how it rides, I'm going to keep it because I love black and white products. I hate the blue knobs. Pushing down on this fork, it feels like my standard Fox 38. I pushed the sag indicator O-ring down because I want to see how much travel I'm using. So it's definitely a very stiff compression tune when I'm jumping on the bike, as it only gets halfway through the travel. So it's going to be a quick run through the test track, and a lot of people hate my test track. but one day when I have the telemetry, I'll show you it has insanely high shaft speeds. That's excellent for testing high-speed compression circuits. So I only got to 3/4 of the 180mm travel, so I can 100% tell you the red tune is a very heavy compression tune, but not in a bad way like RockShox. It doesn't feel like I'm running into a wall of resistance, even though I didn't use all the travel. So this is pretty impressive so far. Turnkey performance, and it's riding really good. So it did get a little bit wallowy, so there's a couple adjustments, external adjustments on the MRP lift damper, so let's go test those out. So I was thinking about this and I'm like, it's got a super heavy compression tune, so this means you need to add a whole bunch of rebound. So I just went to full fast rebound and see if it's usable. I was really nervous coming in basically as fast as I want to ride with a full fast rebound, and the fork was completely in control and definitely riding better. So this is a completely different damping curve in theory when it comes from MRP rather than Fox. Now when it comes to the cross country trails, there's absolutely no fix for a 38mm stanchion. It's just an absolute dud. You really need to be getting that fork deep into the travel to make this damper or this fork even worth it. When it comes to feel, I felt like the fork was running absolutely perfect, but when I look at the sag indicator, I wasn't using all the travel because it's super heavy compression tune, so I'm just going to drop 10 psi to the fork and see if it feels better. So it was definitely a massive improvement, and this completely changed the characteristic of the Fox fork. It felt like it jumped a lot better. So overall, this fork is handling high shaft speeds excellent, and remember, it doesn't have a high speed compression knob, but it has excellent high-speed valving, so you're just going to get an excellent performance. I don't have a ton of time to make videos, so at the test track I found this little cheater line, and there's zero dive out of this fork in steeper sections. But here's the best part about the lift damper: a high-speed huck into the road. It didn't use all the travel, yes, but it didn't feel like an absolute wall of resistance like a RockShox domain. So for more or less, I don't jump very good, but this fork had some really good characteristics in the control department when I was going through this tiny jump line. So because of my limited skill, I typically veer away from going off steep lips because it's a great place to get hurt. But I decided to try it because I'm trying to learn it. And once again, the MRP had excellent control with the rebound in the full fast setting, because the valving in the rebound side is what is truly impressive about this fork. So I was thinking about it on the way home. I'm like, that fork, it's better than any Fox fork I've ever used. So let's look at this part of the fork right here. So the MRP, to me, the best thing about it is the rebound tune. That's where Fox forks typically fall apart. The rebound is typically too slow and you can just ride them in the full fast setting. So the valving in the rebound side and the MRP damper is the absolute best. When it comes to the compression side, I'm going to say the MRP damper is splitting hairs with the Grip X and the Grip X2. But keep in mind, this was one single ride. There's a high probability I could pull a token out of this fork and the MRP would be the absolute king. But the real selling point of the MRP damper is turnkey performance, no clickers needed. I've spent dozens of hours setting Fox forks up, so they're easy to me, but when they're new to you, they're not easy. And the MRP damper is clearly better than anything RockShox has ever made. Hopefully this one was helpful. If this video gets 300 likes, I'll tear that MRP damper apart and criticize it. But you gotta click this video on your screen because you've gotta learn about valving and why it's so important.